So as many Spider-Man 2 players have done already, I platinumed Spider-Man 2 in the very week that it launched, and although it was super fun and very easy when it comes to doing a platinum, there are definitely a few things I would have done differently to save time had I known them earlier. So today we're going to be going over some tips I wish I knew before I platinumed Spider-Man 2. Now, it goes without saying this video will likely contain a couple of spoilers. I'm not going to be talking at all about story elements necessarily, but just keep in mind the gameplay could definitely contain some spoilers, so consider yourself warned. Now, one thing I definitely wish I knew before I went for platinum was focusing on some of these trophies during the main storyline rather than sort of saving them all for afterwards. There are a few trophies in particular that are related to the amount of enemies you need to take out using certain abilities, and once the main storyline is finished, it is a lot harder to come by enemies even with the crime that happens throughout the city. For example, the Surge trophy requires you to use 25 anti-venom abilities during Surge, which is much harder to power up because even when you're coming across random crime throughout the city, sometimes you can do a crime event and still not fully charge your Surge, while throughout the story missions there are definitely a lot more enemies. So my tip here is essentially just to take a look at some of the trophies whilst you're still in the midst of the main story, assuming you haven't finished it yet, or even if you have finished the main story but haven't done all of the hunter bases and the symbiote nests, for example. Be sure to just take a look at some of those trophies and sort of figure out which ones you should try and focus on while the main story is still taking place. Now, before we go any further, if you guys are new to the channel and you are interested in more Spider-Man 2 content, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. There is plenty more Spider-Man content on the way, so make sure you don't miss out. Now, next up, this is probably one of the most obvious things of all time now that I actually say this out loud, but anytime you see a photo opportunity throughout the city, you want to go and do it rather than saving them all for later. They're so incredibly easy to do, but I saved a lot for the end of the game because I just kind of wanted to focus on the main story, and that led to it taking a lot longer than it should have for me personally. When you're trying to do a lot of them at once, if you actually try and fast travel afterwards, for example, it won't let you fast travel until Robbie Robertson is done talking, and it takes a lot longer than it should. So what I'll say is just when you're playing the game, if you come across a photo opportunity anywhere even remotely close, get these done at the time. They take literally like 5 seconds and they are so simple to do, and it will save you a lot of time rather than doing these later on. Now, the next tip directly goes against everything that I just said, and this is to batch your missions together rather than doing sort of random bits all at random times, with the exception being those photo ops like I just said. Now, obviously this might be a little bit less fun for you guys. You might not want to do, for example, 10 Mysteriums in a row. So what I will say is just do whatever is fun, because obviously the game's meant to be fun. If you find that not fun doing 10 things in a row that are the same, then don't do it in that case. But if you are just trying to get these done as fast as you can, it is definitely best to sort of batch your missions together. What I mean by that is, for example, doing all the Mysteriums in a row or doing all the symbiote nests in a row. What that means is that you will kind of get into the groove of those missions. You will be fighting the same sorts of enemies, for example, and you'll just know what you need to do, and it makes it a hell of a lot quicker and probably a lot less frustrating as well, because you are sort of in the groove of those types of missions. Again, it might not be as fun, so if you are just playing purely for fun, definitely just avoid this tip. But if you are doing it, for speed, you're just trying to get these done, then definitely batch them together. Now, something else I wish I knew during the main storyline and pretty much just from the very beginning of the game was that I wish I got all districts to the level 2 like progress tier, because obviously that unlocks the fast travel, and that would have made my life a hell of a lot easier. Now, I had finished the game at the point when I decided to go for platinum, but I probably had maybe 3 or 4, maybe even 5 different districts where I had not unlocked the fast travel option yet. And so this meant that when I wanted to really grind out those missions, for example, doing all the Mysteriums at once, there were certain districts that I couldn't actually fast travel to. Now, what I'll also say is that the traversal in this game is so much fun, and the game is just so gorgeous that it doesn't really matter. I do actually agree with what a lot of people say, that you probably shouldn't fast travel in this game. It's such a great game. The traversal is so amazing that you should kind of soak that in. It's not every game that we get to play as freaking Spider-Man swinging around New York. And so I do get the whole like don't use fast travel notion, but obviously at the same time, not everyone has unlimited hours in the day. And for me personally, when I was trying to get these done, although during the main story I didn't really use fast travel at all, when I was really grinding out the platinum, I definitely used it quite a bit, and it would have helped to have all of those districts unlocked for that fast travel. Now, last but definitely not least, this one is specifically for the Soar trophy, which requires you to glide all the way from the financial district to Astoria in the other corner of the map while only using your web wings. Now, the first thing I wish I knew is that you should definitely upgrade the traversal suit tech before trying this. It'll definitely make this a lot easier for sure. And then second, I wish I knew that there is, as far as I know, only one path you can actually take to do this. I'm going to show you guys on screen right now. All you need to do is simply enter this wind tunnel in the financial district, and you just want to follow this path, turning right at the end of that wind tunnel to use this vent for an updraft. From there, you'll just need to head in that same direction. There will be another vent straight ahead, and you will be definitely cutting it close when you get there, but you should be able to make it there before hitting the ground. Now, from this updraft, you just want to head down to the river and enter into this wind tunnel. And from here, it is very, very simple. You just need to get up into the intersecting wind tunnel that is right above that. And then from there, you simply just follow that tunnel until you get past this bridge and the trophy will be unlocked. Now, I can't explain how many different freaking paths that I tried. And like I said, as far as I know, now that I've actually done it, there is only one path. There's only one path that I've seen other people doing as well. And that is the path that I just showed you. That could be wrong. I'm sure there are maybe some other ways to do this, but definitely don't waste time looking for your own paths. Just copy the one that I showed you because it will make it a lot easier. So anyway, those are all the tips I wish I knew before I went for platinum. It would have genuinely saved me a good 2 to 3 hours. So hopefully this can help you guys out if you are going for platinum. Like I said, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are going to be doing a setup tour at 1K subscribers. So make sure you don't miss out on that. But with that being said, thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day and I'll catch you all in the next one.